Welcome you guys to a new episode of the Five Hold brought to you by Variety Sports Network. With me today is Aaron. How's it going today, Aaron?
It's just the Rangers being inconsistent. That's all. I can never be happy for too long.
Yep. It's gonna be it. They've been kind of a little bit up and down this year, but they've seemed like they're going on a pretty decent trajectory, I guess, so far for the most part. I mean, they did beat the Florida Panthers with considerable ease the other night in the Winter Classic. So that's one of the topics that we're going to touch on a little bit for today. We're also going to touch on the current standings in the NHL, and then as well as with the trade deadline coming up in another 2 months. I think it's like March 6th or something like that for the trade deadline. I know there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be looking to make additions, subtract from the team. There'll be a bunch of that more that we're going to talk about on today's episode. But first things first, let's get on with this Winter Classic that hosted the Florida Panthers going up against the New York Rangers, which we talked about it a little bit briefly before we got on today, but all like previous Winter Classics I thought have been relatively decent to watch. I don't know what it was about this year, but I thought it was kind of over dramatized and kind of in a way, but I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of lame. It was like 63 degrees. They were basically indoors. It can't be a Winter Classic if you're indoors in Florida. It was kind of weird for me. Like, I think probably like two of the best ones I think I've ever seen would be Pittsburgh Buffalo. That was a really good one. When I first started, it was like 2008, 2009. And then the Ann Arbor one where it was Toronto versus Detroit. So if you're into Winter Classic, like that's a Winter Classic. Like I wouldn't even mind. I would put it in our group chat. Like I don't know if you've seen it, but Montana, the university, you can use their football field. They have the mountains behind. Like that'd be perfect. Like something like that for a Winter Classic. I think.
And I think it was you or Brandon that said something too about doing it at like the Speedway.
Oh yeah, Brandon put that in there. I think that's interesting, to be honest. Like, but Bristol is in Tennessee, so that's going to be interesting. Like the trajectory of like how cold it's going to be down there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never been there, but that would be pretty cool putting it on a racetrack because it helps out NASCAR and the NHL. So
yeah, because I know they've kind of recently just had it mostly between like football stadiums, baseball stadiums. We haven't really seen it much outside of those two arenas. I know you can get a lot of people in like those, like the speedways or not the racetracks areas that I don't watch NASCAR or any of that very much. So I don't know what the term for those arenas are that they have all the races in, but still, I felt like it was. For the first time that they had it in Florida, and it was, like you said, it was like 60-something degrees, barely outside. I felt like they could have done a little bit better than that. You always got to take into the fact that the weather's going to have a big effect on the ice. And I felt like it kind of did a little bit. There's a lot of times you saw the guys kind of flipping, falling, and when they didn't really have much contact on it from other players on the other team, it just felt like I thought the play of the game was very, very well, but everything else outside of the Winter Classic, like the whole, I know they've always done like music and stuff prior to the games and stuff, but the way that it was kind of presented this time around, I felt like it was a little over the top.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that Gary Bettman just really wants to sell Florida as like a winter classic. And yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it was just a little like too flashy. Like I was scared for the ice to be like melting in the second period.
And I figured it, and I think we also said something about it too in the chat that was like, if you wanted to like publicize it for Florida or you want to make more viewership for Florida, why not do like a Panthers versus Lightning? I felt like that would have gotten a hell of a lot more like viewership or anything, but I get it. It's mostly just the fans in Florida that have probably been interested, not the whole fan base. And
I don't
not really sure
know.
how much the rivalry is between Florida and New York, but I felt like I
There's
don't know.
no. There's none between Florida and New York. Just that literally that one playoff race. Tampa and Florida, literally Vegas could be like, how many penalty minutes are we getting in a full game? Especially with Sam Bennett being snuffed from Team Canada. John Cooper's over there. All they do is they've been fighting for like 3 years, preseason, regular season, postseason. So that would have been a way better winner classic for everybody. But I got another idea. I saw it yesterday. What if you did Colorado, Carolina, go the old school Nordiques, Hartford Whalers, and put it somewhere like in Quebec or something, like somewhere outdoor there?
That would be pretty neat, especially with you have a lot of players that have been. I don't know. I'm thinking of different, but you have a lot of players that have been kind of going back and forth between Carolina and Colorado, and I felt like that would be pretty decent kind of game to see those two go up against each other. And who knows how next year's going to go. I don't think they've announced anything yet. Usually they
Nah, not
announce.
that I've seen.
Yeah. But I don't know. I felt like that was something that was kind of wanted to be talked about. But did you have any other thoughts on the Winter Classic? I know we kind of briefly just kind of talked about it for a little bit, but other than that, I mean, it's a fun thing to kind of watch, but I didn't really have a whole lot of.
Yeah, no, I would just keep it like it doesn't have to be original six. I feel like they try to put a lot of original six teams in. I feel like if you go to other teams, it's not only going to help that team, but like it would help the NHL as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they did the what was it, Seattle? Who'd they have?
Wasn't Seattle Vegas?
Yeah, Seattle Vegas. That was a good one, and it was outdoors. So it's like I feel like if they go after teams like that, like again, maybe you could do. Obviously, it's Canadian teams, but try something like Edmonton, Calgary outside, like something like that. I feel like they need to do like that kind of stuff. I like original sixes.
What about Edmonton and Vegas with all the series that they've had together? I feel like that would be a really good one.
That would be really good. But yeah, I would steer away from original sixes. Just kind of give them a break.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit ago about the Sam Bennett and all the other players that kind of got touched on and not brought into for the Olympics. And I know we didn't really get a chance to talk about it much, but with all the teams that have been kind of announced and all their rosters or anything, I know there was a lot of speculation on different players that were going to be put on the different teams. Adam Fox for one. I know Jason Robertson was another one. There just seemed like that whenever the GMs were kind of going through and building their teams, I know we talked briefly on our chat about how Jacob Chitrin didn't get selected for his respectable nation, and then we had players like Sirielli get selected, but hasn't had like the best of years. What were your thoughts on kind of the selection process, I guess, for this year's Olympics and the rosters for each team? I know they were kind of wanting to go back probably to how they had it for the Four Nations, but I was just curious what your thoughts on that was.
Yeah, so I'll start with the U.S. first, and I think, listen, I'm a Rangers fan. I've loved them for like 20 some odd years. JT Miller doesn't have it. All right, you can take him off. I know he's a Mike Sullivan guy. He was there in the Four Nations. You need scoring, man. JT Miller, he's been a little bit of a shell of himself this year, so I don't know if it's just because he's been hurt since the beginning of the season. That's what happened to Adam Fox last year, and he played like dog water in the Four Nations. So I would have did like an Alex Took or just looking at the snub list, and obviously Jason Robertson, but also too, like if you're gonna bring in guys like Brock Nelson, why don't you bring in Patty Kane? I mean, he's probably got like 1 year left. He would definitely be like the driving force. He could. I mean, I don't think he'll be your captain because it's Mike Sullivan, but I mean, Patty Kane would be a great one. Jason Robertson's like has the most goals for American-born guys with 24, and he scores. Like that's what Canada is about: scoring, and they hit you. Like, why can't the U.S. be like that? Like, I don't know why they want to run it back with basically the same squad that they lost to Canada. And I don't care that it was Jordan Binnington. Canada is stacked. And even with Canada, though, they got Matthew Shaver on the reserve list. They have a lot. It seemed like a lot of left-handed defensemen. So I was a little surprised Jacob Chikrin didn't get in. So, like, that was kind of my big thing. But, like, even with Canada's B team, they could still beat the U.S. That's how crazy it is, how much is left off there. Like, everyone kept talking about Mark Scheifele. And I don't really know why.
I did hear a lot talking about him, and I was surprised he didn't get put on the active team.
Yeah, I was surprised, but it's like he really doesn't play that great at defense, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But this Anthony Cirelli was weird. I get it; it's a Tampa guy. Sam Bennett, literally went on a tear in the playoffs. He actually he's
got a little kind of a slower year. I feel like he hasn't really had as much production as that we've seen him have in previous 2 seasons, I would say.
But even that's actually true. But even Zach Hyman, he was hurt with his hand and stuff, but he's been on a tear since he came back from the injured reserve. So I would try to put those guys in. It was just weird, but a team to watch out for, and it's gonna be kind of weird. Team Sweden, and I'll say this because
I did see the team. I was like, whoo.
Yeah, their team is pretty good. They're better than the Four Nations one, and they got Jesper Wallstedt, who's been on a tear at goalie, and they got Gustafsson. I don't really care about Jacob Markstrom, but they have really good guys there. So I would definitely watch out for Team Sweden the most than Team Canada. But yeah, that's just my thought on Team USA. It's just you want to score, and you got guys that just they play defense or they're headers, but it's you don't have a lot of scorers.
Yeah, for sure. Briefly, a little bit too. I know we saw kind of U.S. and Canada kind of take off a little bit whenever we had the Four Nations. Do you think it's going to be kind of the same deal where USA, Canada, and Sweden, and maybe it looked like Czech kind of had a little bit of a good team kind of coming into this year for the Olympics? Do you think that's something that those, I guess mostly the US Canada teams are going to be the bigger show, I guess, getting the more points, I guess, for this year in the Olympics? Or do you think there's going to be an oddball team out there that a lot of us aren't really checking out yet that might be more?
I mean, if Barkov was healthy, I would have said Team Finland, because even that team's really not that bad. They have some pretty good guys on there, but I think I'm gonna have to say what I said a little bit earlier was Team Sweden. I think people are gonna think the U.S. is gonna get silver, but Team Sweden could come up and swoop over them. But even Team Canada too. It's do you trust Jordan Binnington? He's been off this year. As a Blues fan, you've seen him. You know it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you trust Jordan Binnington in these games? Do you start Logan Thompson?
The best game that we've seen him play as of recently was against the Canadians yesterday, where he got a shutout. And other than that, though, his performance in that has been extremely subpar.
Exactly.
It's bad. He's been on the bench more than playing, and Hofer's been doing a hell of a lot better than him in that. And that's, to me, it was kind of a surprise that they're even thinking of still putting Binnington as that top role in that.
Now, I mean, I think they're going to play Logan Thompson first.
I could see that with how well he's been playing for Washington.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind like having Binnington like I guess against like the Czechs just to see like what he has. But like Darcy Kemper's a pretty good number 3 goalie. But yeah, no, I would go with a hot hand Logan Thompson. But like, what do you have any problems with Team USA? Like how they constructed their roster, or do you want someone different? Because Adam Fox, keep him home. I don't want him hurt.
I don't know. In all honesty, I didn't really see because I briefly looked at the rosters yesterday. I didn't really have a whole lot of issues with it. I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch, I think, to have Matthew Tkachuk, and I know it's gonna with him not playing at all yet this year and still just skating. He hasn't been in any NHL games whatsoever yet. I feel like that is a big kind of risk factor to me. I feel like you could have had probably a forward in there that's been playing a lot better. I don't have a specific one in mind, but still, I feel like
Cutter Gauthier.
I mean, yeah, but I still feel like that was probably the thing that jumped out at me the most. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Matty Tkachuk since his dad played here in St. Louis and everything. And we've been always wanting the Tkachuk boys to be playing here in St. Louis, but I don't know. To me, I thought that was a big kind of like red flag or question mark to me. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I feel you on that one. Like, especially he's in the yellow non-contact right now, and obviously he didn't suit up for Winter Classic. But like again, I said Cutter Gauthier is like a joke, but like Cole Caulfield, the guy just said at home, like,
oh yeah, he's been playing lights out for Montreal.
Exactly. Like if Canada took the risk of bringing in Macklin Celebrini, granted, really good this year, like he's blown out of the water. Cole Caulfield is just as well. I mean, just as good. He's a little bit better, but like you can put him on the squad and take out the Chuck until he's like perfectly healthy, or if he's not even healthy, you know what I mean? But like a Brock Nelson on that team, it's like, come on, man. Like he's having a good year, but like over these guys, I don't understand.
Yeah, and I mean the way so the other thing that kind of got to me, which and I get it, they're both injured, but and yes, he is skating, but you don't even. I don't know if he got put on a secondary or alternate squad, but with how well that Connor Bedard even was playing, I don't know how close he is to getting done or getting healthy from his injury that he suffered, but that I mean, even too, like he's always been playing decent, and he didn't even get a chance at playing on Team Canada. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you could take, like, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Like you could take out Mark Stone. Is he gonna be that healthy? Like we've seen where he goes down real quick. But even like Bo Harvell, he's having a really good year, but like he got hurt the other day with it was a lower body, probably his knee or something. So like that's something to look out for. But like, what are your thoughts on Schaefer? Like people really wanted Schaefer to be on this team, and I think he's still in the protocol, so he actually might. But like
Matthew Schaefer,
yeah, Matthew Schaefer's is still kind of like in the mix. He's like on that like reserve because I think Devin Tays said that if I think he's having a son, if his son is born or daughter's born, he's not going to.
Yeah, I did see that until his son or whenever his baby is born, he was staying home for. So that means depending on how long that takes, he may not be able to make it. And I mean, in the regard of Matthew Schaefer, yes, I feel like for a rookie defenseman, I feel like he's been doing a phenomenal job in New York. Like with the amount of point production and everything, like I didn't know exactly how close or far the standings were for the Calder, but whenever I looked last, I mean, it was a landslide. I think whenever I looked last between like first, second, and third for rookies this year on points, and I feel like he should have had a little bit more of a chance. I mean, like you said, I think he's in a reserve spot, like you said, but I could have seen him even get a little bit more of a shot than what he is currently.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just crazy. But again, we're not coaches, but I still think some of those players should be on, others shouldn't. But it is what it is.
So going off of that and going into the next portion, which I wanted to talk about where we were kind of at with standings and everything with both the Eastern and Western Conference so far into this year. We're kind of at that halfway-ish point in the season. And I don't know about you, but I mean, looking at the standings over the last couple weeks, it was relatively decent, but taking a good look at it all over the last couple days, things seem to be very different this year compared to recent years, especially with the Eastern Conference. We've seen Eastern Conferences in the past where you had a clear distinction from playoff teams, wild card teams, and non-playoff teams. This year, it's like you have one team going on a massive decline and another team go on a big just winning tear, and that could escalate or change the entire thing for the Eastern Conference this year. I think because you have, just to give everybody just a broad spectrum of everything, you have the Tampa Bay Lightning at the top of the Eastern Conference at 53 points. You have the Columbus Blue Jackets at 42 points. And then the wild card race, if you look at Washington Capitals, who have 48 points, and then you look down the line of where everybody is at from there, you have Philadelphia and Islanders above them at 49 and 50 points. And then you have below them that are within 5 points of Washington. You know more about the Eastern Conference than I do, Aaron, but what are your thoughts on how crazy, I guess, that this year is for the Eastern Conference?
I didn't realize Mitch Marner was that much of a difference for Toronto because they're at 45 points right now, and they're like bottom three with the Rangers and Columbus for the wild card. So I actually had them third just because I was like, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. It's Craig Berube. Like, he's going to grind these guys, and I didn't realize they're going to fall this deep.
Yeah, that was a big surprise for me too. I figured that they were going to be close in the race, but to just see the dramatic fall of that team, it was I was very shocked.
Yeah, because at one point William Nylander had 13 games, had no points, no assists. Austin Matthews looked like he didn't want to be there. Now he's on a heater. Last 4 games, had 6 goals. I think he had a hat trick with it, 10 assists. So it's just it's been absolute crazy trauma. But Florida, though, remember, they don't have Barkov. They don't have Matthews.
They're on a really big injury bug right now.
I think Seth Jones left in the Winter Classic.
Yeah, he left in the middle of the game. Yeah. Let's see if I can pull up how many injuries they have.
But I do like Montreal, especially the way they've been playing, because Jacob Fowler, who's on those BC teams, with Gabe Perreault and Ryan Leonard, he's been pretty good coming in to help out Montembeault when he was hurt. The fact that they're third in the Atlantic, who would have thought that? And they're 6-2-2 in their last 10. It's where are you coming from? I understand. I understand.
Well, you got to think about it too. Montreal made a lot of additions over the off season. So I mean, they're really showing for it right now.
Yeah, I love the Philip Deneau trade that they did with the Kings. I thought that's a really good veteran presence for them, especially with Kirby Dach out for. I think he's still out for 2 or 3 more weeks. I'm not sure. But they're just cooking hardcore. And Noah Dobson's been really great for them for defense with Lane Hudson, all that. It's just been It's crazy though with Montreal being third in the Atlantic.
Yeah. Kind of going back to what we were talking about with Florida. I mean, yeah, you got Seth Jones who just went out. You have Barkov who's out for the season. Kachuk who's on a no contact jersey skating. Then you have Nozick, Kulikov, Galjevic, and then Schwint. I don't know how the fucking you say his name, but yeah. I mean, you got 6, 7 guys that are on your injured list that you heavily relied upon over the last couple of years whenever they won the cup. And I mean, it could be a lot of they played so many games compared to other teams that they're just getting the injury bug and just something. But I mean, we've seen it a lot over the last 2 seasons where players have been getting injured more than previous years. And I don't know if it's just because of all the games that they've played and it's just coming back to haunt the team. But I don't know. With being how many injuries they're having, I really think the three-peat's going to not be in the question.
That's fine. If I'm Florida, like you need to take a break and just recoup and then come back even stronger next year. So I'm cool with that. But I do love that not love, but that freaking Brad Marchand is just having a career so far down in sunny Florida. So I mean I gotta give him props to that, even though I hate the guy. But for a team though,
I've never really been a big fan of Marchand, but hey, you know what? With how well the season he's been having, good for him. I applaud the dude for that. Anything else on the Eastern Conference? I know we briefly touched on it. Detroit, I thought was another team that was kind of a little bit of a surprise for me. Because over the last couple of seasons, they've been kind of a team that's been kind of a middle ground, and then all of a sudden they're second in the Atlantic, just behind Tampa.
I mean, did Yzerman finally figure out like what to do? I thought he was going to go for Quinn Hughes because they need defensive help, but the fact that Gibson's doing pretty well for them, I'm very shocked. Cam Talbot's like doing okay, but like I feel like if they grab some defensive players, like 1 or 2, I think that's going to help them out a lot. Which is why I thought they're going to get Quinn Hughes, but I think if they do that, they should be pretty good. Like even if they make wild card, they might actually make it to the playoffs in like 11 years.
Yeah. Other than that, with where the wild card is at, we have the Washington Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins. Do you feel like, and I know I just touched on it just briefly before we got into kind of going over everything, but do you think these 2 teams are going to be staying, or do you think that it's going to be different teams that are going to be going into those wild card positions? And I know we got a lot of hockey still to kind of be played too. I mean, you got half a season still left to play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Buffalo, because Kevin Adams is fired doesn't mean they're going to go to the playoffs. New Jersey, everyone kept saying they were going to be top 3 in the Metro. And like Sheldon Keefe said, they don't have any dogs. So I don't know what's going on with them. I actually think it possibly could happen where it stays because remember, this is Sidney Crosby's last year in quotes for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So maybe with the team that they have, they did trade for Stuart Skinner. Maybe they can keep it at the wild card or even flop with Philadelphia because they're only 2 points out of the Metro.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a good possibility because, I mean, yeah, you have Crosby that's more or less probably close to being done with Pittsburgh or in general. And then you have Alex Ovechkin, who could be, I don't know exactly where everything is going to be at, kind of going with him since he got the record from Gretzky, and now
he got his assist record.
I don't know if he got the assist record.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I know he got the goals record last year.
I always see that for people like, oh, he broke Luke Gretzky's record. Oh, his assist record? And they're like, no, his goals record. He's like, yeah, well, he has more assists.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you think that's something that he could keep continuing to play, or do you think that he could potentially hang it up after this year or next year?
I think he's done. I think he's actually. I don't think he signed a contract extension, so this actually might be it for him in Washington. I think if I'm him, I accomplished everything. Like, if you want to do like one more year, sure, but like if not, like it's okay to hang up the cleats. Like you did in this league to prove you're a Hall of Famer no matter what. So
yeah. And other than Toronto being at the bottom of this the standings this year for the Eastern Conference, was there any other big surprises?
I'm a little surprised with Columbus. I did like that they traded for who did they trade for again?
Marchment.
Oh yeah, Marchment. Yeah, Mason Marchment. He's been doing pretty good for them. I think with if they pick it up a little bit on defense, they should be cool. I mean, other than that, like their offense is pretty good. They just are losing some close games. And again, they're 42 points, so anything can happen.
Yeah. They could go on a heater like Buffalo did for that 10-game run and get right back in the swing for a wild card race.
Oh, they absolutely could. I don't doubt that at all. I think you know what? If I were to choose, I would say Columbus goes in the number 2 spot for the wild card.
Okay.
Buckets.
Okay, that's a little bit more of a take than I thought I was going to get out of that one. But all right, hey, we'll see it. We'll have to wait.
It's the wild east. Anything can happen.
Yep. Kind of going off from that and going kind of reaching back over to the Central Division. This side of the conference is a little bit more varied, I'd say, this year than previous years. You have a clear kind of top, middle, and bottom tier. You have Colorado ranging at the top of the conference and the Central at 69 points. Minnesota is at 58 points. Dallas is at 57 points for the top 3 in the West. Top 3 in the Pacific is Edmonton at 46 points, Vegas at 45 points, Anaheim at 45 points, and then kind of the middle tier, all the guys at 43, 42, 41 points. And you got Seattle and LA in the 2 wild card spots. And then kind of the rest of the division, which the 2, I would say, mostly just the one biggest surprise for me is seeing Winnipeg at the very bottom.
Yeah, they fell hard. Like I've seen President's Trophy winners like kind of like dip. Like you saw last year with the Rangers. They were like middle of the pack. They were in a playoff spot, got out. Like this is not. I've never seen like this, but we all kind of had a feeling because Nikolaj Ehlers went to Carolina. Connor Hellebuck is their offense. Well, not their offense, but he is their team.
And he was out for a stretch.
Yeah, with an injury. But I didn't think Winnipeg, the way they were placing certain players in the cog, like I think their first line's like really good. It's just after that, it's like question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, I've never seen him dip like this much.
Yep. Kind of seeing the top of the conference with the juggernaut of the Colorado Avalanche, Minnesota Wild, with how well that they've came out after the year they had last year. With those 3 teams at the top of the Central, do you kind of felt like this is what you were expecting to see at the midway point with Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas being at the top of the Central?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I didn't think Minnesota was going to be this good. Like, I mean, when Quinn Hughes got traded, I think they went like 5-1 or 6-2 at that point. And I was like, holy Jesus. Like, I get it. Like, they have really good players, but like, I didn't realize Quinn Hughes going to make that much of an impact. And I think he has like 11 apples with them so far. So the fact that they went over Dallas, and I thought Dallas was going to be number 2 in the division, if I remember correctly when we were predicting it. Yeah. But I didn't expect Minnesota to be like this good. I'm curious as to your thoughts on how Nashville and you guys for St. Louis are tied with 42 points. Like, did you expect Nashville to be fourth in the Central? Because I sure didn't. I thought they were
No,
gonna be
I
like,
think whenever we did our prediction on the where everybody was going to be at this point or through the season, I think we still predicted Nashville to be kind of at the bottom with Chicago, and even Chicago's not that far behind us. They're at 39 points, and
oh,
seeing Nashville and where they're playing, and last year I kind of talked about it with a few people. Nashville went out and made all those new additions. I mean, they picked up Stamkos. They went out and got Ryan O'Reilly, which I think was the year before that. But still, you went out and made a large amount of acquisitions, which it was a lot different from Montreal that did the same thing this past offseason, that everybody kind of gelled pretty quickly. It seemed like it's taken a little bit of time for a lot of those guys in Nashville to kind of gel and get to the point to where they're doing a lot better this year than what they did last year. But yes, for me, it's a little bit of surprise to see the Central and where the layout of it is, because in all honesty, I didn't see the Blues doing as bad as what they are this season. And even though they're 1 point outside of a wild card spot, I still never would have thought that the Blues were going to be in the kind of the skid that they are of this season.
yeah. I mean, I kind of like that Anaheim, even though they're third in the Pacific, they're on a skid, because every time I go on Twitter, all I see is Chris Kreider stuff. And I'm like, dude, it's over. He's in Anaheim. Like, cool. He had that great, what was it, first 2 weeks of the season where he had like more goals than last year. And I'm like, he didn't want to be here. Now they're on this skid. I'm like, all right, cool. This Chris Kreider stuff's dying down a little bit. I don't have to see too much of him in a Ducks uniform. But I'm just really surprised at Vegas this year. But then again, I'm not, if that makes sense. Like, they had to have fallen eventually.
Yeah, I figured it was going to happen at some point or another. You can't continue. I mean, you can in some regard, but you can't continue just to keep trying to go year in and year out, trying to just get the best players from different teams and trying to make runs like they have over the last couple of years, especially with the new CBA and everything going into effect, where you can't exceed the salary cap going into the playoffs and everything that coming into this year. So over the next, this year and probably in the next couple of years, we're probably going to see a little bit of a decline, I would imagine, for Vegas.
I hope so. No, I was kidding. I don't hope so, but they have been fun. So, like, I actually thought the Eichel, Marner, who's over there, Barbashev line was probably going to be one of the nastiest lines in the NHL. Yeah. But I think is Jack Eichel still hurt? I haven't really paid attention to Vegas like that. I could have swore
I haven't paid much attention to Vegas either, but I want to say
he's hurt, but I could be very wrong.
I got it up right here.
Because he was just going crazy with his apples.
No, he's playing. He's back playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know he was out there for a little while, but I guess he's been back playing as of recently. But yeah, it was a little bit of surprise, but kind of one thing that you did touch on whenever we were talking about Minnesota. Did you think that was where Ken Hughes was going to be going? Because I know we were all thinking that he was going to be potentially going to Jersey to be with his brothers. I know that's what we were seeing a lot of before the Quinn Hughes deal was made. But even in the regard of how much of a effort that he made or has made in Minnesota, that just like the comment that you made of how much of an effect he has, look at where Vancouver is in the Western Conference. I mean, they're right there just ahead of Winnipeg in the second to last spot, and they're in 37. They got 37 points.
Yeah, so I didn't think New Jersey because every time they were talking about, they're like, oh, New Jersey has to trade with someone else, a dumb cap space to bring him in to keep his cap. And I was like, but Jack Hughes hurt, like Luke Hughes, they signed in the offseason. Like, I was like, I don't think it's gonna work. I said maybe. So how it goes is Quinn Hughes has three. I think he has 1 year left or 2 years left, and then Jack Hughes has I think 3 or 4 years left. So I think what people were saying was like, no matter where Quinn Hughes goes, I think he can't go to Jersey, plays where he gets traded to, then he'll link up with Jack Hughes, and then all those Hughes brothers can play together. But like Minnesota,
He's
I
in year
had
5 of 6.
oh okay, because I had no, that was not my bingo card. I didn't think they were going to give up what they gave up for him, and it was really a pretty good deal. Like I haven't
Yeah,
looked
to
at it,
give up
but
Marco Rossi, I think is what. And
yep,
then
and their first round pick,
mhm.
Yevon or whatever. But like, nah, I didn't expect Minnesota at all. I wasn't even
No,
sure where he
they're
was going to go, to be honest.
because I think wasn't Detroit also in the mix
Well,
for him?
I said that Iserman should go get him. I
Oh,
was
okay.
hoping he was going to pull the trigger, but he must have got a little nervous.
um, Other than that, I know we kind of talked about them a little bit before we came on, but what about the year that Colorado's been having it? Only 2 regulation losses, 69 points, and to have Nathan McKinnon be at 402 goals in his career against the St. Louis Blues, 400th against the St. Louis Blues last week. What about this freaking tear that Colorado's been going on?
They're looking like the Red Wings when people remember they used to be in the Western Conference of like the early 2000s.
Oh, I remember.
Oh,
I remember.
and we've been talking about it for like what the last 2 seasons. Like Colorado tried, well, they had the Darcy Kemper experience, won a cup, right? Then they tried to bring in, I can't, the guy from the Rangers, but he also played. I think it was not Montreal. Where did he come from? I don't remember. But they thought, oh, we could just plug in a goalie and we'll be good to go. No, that's not how that worked. It didn't work out at all. They bring in both Scott Wedgwood and Blackwood, the Wood brothers, even though not really brothers, and they finally like put it all together. And I was like, yo, like they actually have like pretty decent goaltending. And even people were saying that either Wedgwood or Blackwood
Georgiev,
should have
wasn't
made
it,
Team
before
Canada.
the Wedgwood
Oh yeah,
or the Wood
Georgiev,
brothers?
yeah.
Because he went to San Jose after that.
Yeah, he's actually, where did he go? I think he went overseas
I
for the
think so.
KHL this year because I think he tried for Buffalo. But anywho, but like they had to sign Martin Nietzsche because of the Mikko Rantanen experiment. But like all the years he had there, and they let him go. And they're like, all right, we got Martin Nietzsche in that trade. We got to keep him. They re-signed him. Martin Nietzsche is still playing amazing. Jack Drury's okay, but just like the way that this team is constructed, it's phenomenal.
And the way that Gabriel Landeskog has steadily kind of coming back into his what he was. I mean, he's had to me, I feel like he's had a little bit of a slower start, but I mean, with everybody that you have around you, you can take all the time in the world to get back into the way that you have played prior to your injury that you had.
Yeah, like that's just like that veteran presence, that leadership. Like every team needs that in the locker room. And even though like he was doing that from afar, like the rah-rahs, like I totally forgot and I don't know why I forgot, but like, yeah, he's definitely that missing piece for this team.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how the West is going to kind of shape out. I feel like the top 3 for the Central are more or less locked in where they're more or less at. The Pacific, though, I feel like is a little bit still of a question mark because you got Seattle and LA still both 3 points shy of even Edmonton at the top spot in the Pacific. Don't take me wrong. I don't think that they're going to start playing to the degree that they're going to shake up the top 3 spots in the Pacific. But it's a lot closer of a division, I feel like, in the West than what you see with the Central.
Yeah.
Now, the wild card race, I feel like that could be a little bit closer. I mean, you got the Ducks at 45, Seattle at 43, LA at 43, San Jose at 43, Nashville, St. Louis at 42. I mean, it's kind of the same way as what it was in the East. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 teams within several points of each other. That the wild card race, I feel like you could be in second to last place in the division or in the conference, and you potentially still could have somewhat of a chance at getting close to a wild card spot.
I don't think Seattle and the Kings are going to be there near the end of the season. Like LA's. Oh man, if I said this as a question for Billy Hockey, and I said to Brandon in the beginning of the season, could you imagine if they got Pete DeBoer? I mean, granted, he doesn't like goalies, but like if they get that veteran leadership as a coach for Utah, oh my God, they could be a heater for the wild card. Because like the Kings are just there. They're just there for Kopitar for the end of the season. They're not really trying. Like San Jose, I love them. They're a really good young team, but their goaltending is a little sus. So like I don't think they're gonna do too much, but they're having a great year.
So they have who?
They got Askarov, who's like their number 1 guy, in that trade, and then it's like not Vijelka. It's like something like that, like Vijelka or something like that. But like Seattle,
yeah, I'm not pronouncing that.
Yeah, it's a little difficult. So it's like I think if Utah gets like a better coach, almost like what the Blues did when they got Montgomery and they just went on this like heater. I think if they do that, they could take the wild card. In Nashville, I'm not sure. They're so like the biggest question mark in this West for a wild card spot.
Yeah, Utah this year, I feel like they've really been showing that they could potentially be a favorite for a wild card position. LA and Seattle.
Seattle's just there.
Seattle, I feel like, has been struggling at spots, and I feel like they got lucky with the position that they're in currently. I feel like there could be a lot of other teams that could potentially slide into those positions. But I guess with where everything is kind of at, and with the halfway point, I know we were going to talk about the trade deadline and with buyers and sellers as well. Probably the teams at the top of both the East and the West, they are more or less buyers. But with the rest of, I guess, the layout for, I guess we'll start with the East. Who do you think could be more or less like a buyer or seller? Do you think there's going to be teams that are going to be kind of waiting to like that last minute before they make any kind of decisions?
I think Detroit is both. They could be a buyer and wait till the last minute. I think they just, like I said earlier, they just need some defense. And I think they're going to be pretty good in the Atlantic. Like they'll be the top 3 in the Atlantic. Buffalo, if you can be a buyer with a GM, if that works, or keep who you have, I don't know. I think sellers, I would say, and I would hate to say it, but it has to be Rangers, got to be sellers.
Yeah.
I don't see anything going with this roster. There's a lot of movement clause on this team. Like, I loved Mika Zibanejad when he came over, but I think you can get more value for him. Panarin, he's got the same things in his last year. He would have been like a really good player for a team, but since the free agency market next year like shrunk tremendously with everyone getting re-signed, there's not going to be much value. So if you can move him to like a contender, like somewhere, I mean, I guess wherever he'd want to go. Maybe Anaheim, because they like taking everyone from the Rangers. It used to be Tampa, but I don't think Tampa's going to give up anything. So I would say the Rangers as a sellers in the East. I think the Islanders are going to be a last minute. We're not going to see it coming. I don't know who they would get. Probably someone to replace Kyle Palmieri because he was hurt this year. But I'm not. I think they're going to be like at the last minute. And then the West, I feel like Dallas is going to do something. They always do something.
Yeah.
But what? I don't know.
Kind of briefly touched, like what you said, with Dallas being buyers. I'm feeling Colorado, they're probably going to stay steady with the team that they have. I don't know if they really, with how well they're playing, I don't know if you really disrupt much of that team.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. One thing that I did want to kind of ask about was whenever we just kind of mentioning sellers, do you think Toronto goes on as being a seller, and you think they try to move on from Nylander or Matthews or some of their core that they have there in Toronto? Because obviously, if you start playing as bad as you do after Mitch Marner leaves, what do you think it could be, that core that's just not doing it for him? Or do you think that if they do move it, some of those players, who do you think that they could potentially go to?
Now, I believe I said this in our group chat. I wouldn't trade William Nylander. I think he's a really good piece. I would trade Austin Matthews. He has 2 years left on his deal. He already broke Matt Sundin 400 goals.
I did just see that.
That was pretty cool. I didn't expect that. He's gonna have like the most value just because like of what he does, where he's always producing between 40 to 45 goals. He is from New Mexico or Arizona. I think he's from like one of those.
Oh, I think I remember talking about this. Like
I would trade him. And where I would trade him, I don't know. Maybe Vegas. But I'm not sure. But Austin Matthews, I feel like if I'm Toronto, I would sell, get rid of him, because you lost. Who did they lose? They lost their defenseman. Freak. Who was he from?
Wait, who lost who?
The defenseman that they signed last year. He played in Dallas and the Flames. My God, his name. But he got hurt this year because he got like rocked. And then they were like, "Oh no, I'll find it right now." See if I can find him.
I can't think of it.
Chris Tanev.
Oh yes, I did.
I think he's still hurt.
About Tanev, in all honesty.
Yeah, so it still says. Oh, he pulled a groin too. Specific amount of time. Okay, so like, yeah, I would. That's your best bet, is trading Austin Matthews. He has no movement, but if he goes to a contender, you gotta sell. And Vegas has good pieces that's pretty good for Toronto.
Okay, with the West and kind of a seller or two that could potentially be there. Obviously, I think Winnipeg is probably going to be in that market of probably going to be selling off some players, but with also how much of a fallout that we've seen Vancouver have. I know we've already kind of see them kind of moving on from JT Miller in the last year, but do you think that there's going to be more of a moving off or moving out from Vancouver than what we've already seen? Or is it something that, or if what pieces? Because obviously I think Elias Pettersson is probably going to be staying. I'm not quite sure with that one, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on Vancouver.
I think Pettersson stays because when they were talking about the Quinn Hughes trade, that Quinn Hughes was upset with Pettersson just because of his work ethic. And when you hear that and teams go, I don't really want him, because like, why am I going to try to trade for someone that they just signed last year? He's young, but he has a terrible work ethic. I'm not going to try to trade for him. Kiefer Sherwood, I think I would try to trade. Where he would go, maybe back to Anaheim. I don't know. Maybe St. Louis.
Come to St. Louis, baby. We need somebody that is like a veteran kind of power forward. We don't really have very many guys on St. Louis that has that just gritty presence, and having a guy like Kiefer Sherwood, I feel like would be a really good spot for him. But that's just me being biased. St. Louis.
No, that's actually not that bad. But yeah, I would say just like Kiefer Sherwood, because I wouldn't really know who, like Jake DeBrusk just signed over there like what was it 2 years ago? So it's like, does anybody really want Jake DeBrusk? Well, yeah, Kiefer Sherwood's probably your best bet in Vancouver.
For sure. Other than that, I didn't really have much else to really touch on, unless you have anything that we might have forgotten about.
It's kind of like surprisingly like dead in the NHL world. Like obviously all the rosters, but like it's not really much going on.
Yeah, I have, to me, watching hockey as long as I have, I thought with how this year kind of started and how it's kind of been going, I felt like it's been a little bit of an off year with how so many of these teams have just juggled around in different spots through the standings and everything. So it's been weird to me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling that kind of feeling about this year in the NHL. But yes, I do kind of agree with you in the fact that it's like kind of been a weird year in the NHL world. So we'll kind of see where things kind of go and everything. I know we're going to try to, with the new year and everything, I know Saf and us have all kind of talked about getting everything kind of going back again with this podcast and everything. So we're gonna try. Keyword is try to get back into the swing of things and being consistent, both with the 5-hole and Blues Notes. I know we've been struggling over there as well, but hope all you guys that have stuck around with us watching today have enjoyed the show. If there's anything that we've missed or you guys want us to talk about in next episodes, please leave comments. That would help us greatly for different topics and everything to kind of talk about on shows to come. Please like, subscribe, and we greatly appreciate you guys all coming out today. Any last thoughts before we end today, Aaron?
Yeah, Mason Marchman scored another goal for Columbus as we were talking about him. So yeah, but other than that, yeah, pretty much like, subscribe, hit the little bell. It goes ding, and then that way you know when there's going to be 5-hole, Sunday, Talk of the Gridiron. I know 7th Inning Stretch is done, but we got Fast Break. So check out those shows. Make sure you hit the sub button so you know when all the shows are coming up. But other than that, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for coming out today, and we will see you guys in the next episode. See ya.